Rudra Abhisheka, this is the name of the ritual which I told you, which we are going to do on Thursday morning. Rudra Abhisheka. Abhisheka means pouring water, milk, water and thus substances on Sivalinga. Rudra Abhisheka. Abhisheka for Rudra. Abhisheka is pouring water, milk, yogurt, honey, fruit juices, water. With all these we pour on the Sivalinga. This pouring is called Abhisheka. So Abhisheka for Rudra, Rudra Abhisheka. That we will do. So today we have to take up the study of next stanza. Nama Uchchair Ghoshaya Krandayate Pattinam Pataye Namaha. That is the stanza today. It is in the third page, second line from below. Nama Uchchair Ghoshaya Krandayate Pattinam Pataye Namaha. Uchchair Ghoshaya, Uchchaihi. Uchchaihi means loudly, loud. Ghoshaya. For the one who makes the sound. For the one who makes the sound. Ghosha means sound. Uchchaihi means loudly, loud. Akrandayate. For the one who calls with bigger sound. For the one who calls with bigger sound. Akrandayate. For the one who calls with bigger sound in all directions. Pattinam Pataye. Pattinam Pataye. Pattinam means of the pedestrians. Pedestrians means those who are walking on the path. Pedestrians. Pattinam. Patti means pedestrian. Pedestrians. Those who are by walk moving, they are called pedestrians. So Pataye for the Lord of pedestrians. Ghoshaya. Ghosha means sound. Sound. Ghosha means sound. Well, listen. Uchchair Ghoshaya, the big sound, for the one who makes big sound, is Uchchair Ghoshaya. Uchchai means loud. Ghoshaya sound. The one who makes the sound, for the one who makes the sound. So Ghosha, Uchchair Ghoshaya means for the one who makes loud sound. And Akrandayate, for the one who calls loudly in all directions. Pattinam Pataye, for the Lord of the pedestrians. Namaha, salutations. So the meaning is, my salutation to the Rudra who is making big sounds and who is calling loudly in all directions and who is the Lord of pedestrians. So now we will see more deeper meanings. Uchchai Ghoshaya. He is called Uchchair Ghosha. Rudra is called Uchchair Ghosha. The one who makes big sounds. So that means, since he is the Lord of vibration, he exists as the indweller in the Akasa. And since Akasha has sound as one of its properties, I told you, one of the prime properties of Akasha is sound. So the Akasha is full of many sounds, all of which we cannot hear. We can hear only to certain frequency. So there are certain sounds which can be heard by us and certain sounds which are not heard by us. Yes, some animals can be hear, which we cannot hear. So, for example, when our earth is rotating around its axis, it makes also sound, but that sound is not audible for us. If our ears may receive that sound, then our hearing will once for all hearing goes, because that is intense frequency of sound. So our earth and the other planets also, they make sound while they are turning around themselves, and then they are going around the sun also. And the sun also makes very tremendous sound. And that sound is not at all audible to any of the beings. That is why we are surviving. That otherwise we will not survive. You remember in 2012 when we were in Crimea, who were there in Crimea? Peter was there. You were also there. So we have this planet observatory. We have observed the planets. There one morning we went to observe about the sun. and the sun's rays were passed in the observatory through the microscope on some and then diverted, and this diverted phenomenon itself made such big sound like a big machine. There is no machine but the sound of the sun's rays, because this was directed through the telescope, an intense reflection of sun, and reflection was again refracted and refracted. This refracted intensity itself is very hard to hear. You remember the sound in the observatory? You don't remember? It was very big sound. So when the telescopic reflection itself is giving such sound, which is very hard for us, if the real sound of the sun is heard, we will not exist at all. It is tremendous sound. So all these heavenly bodies, they produce this sound, but that sound is there in the Akasha, because the sound is a potency or the property of Akasha, of the space. Shabda Gunakam Akasam, that is the...
So when we look out in the night and see the stars of sun,
yes,
if we would hear the sounds of this,
our earth will not exist. If all the sounds of the so bigger suns will reach our earth will disappear due to that sound, because that sound is millions of times more than the sound produced by our earth. The sound produced by our earth itself is much larger when compared to the sound which we make. We are also making so much of sound, you see. We know that we make how much of sound we make. Like this. When there is a 2 minutes, 3 minutes gap itself, we can make so much of sound.
this creation is a huge orchestra.
Yes. So every being, because earth is a being, sun is a being, planets are beings. Every being, even a mosquito can make so much sound. Like this. We cannot bear even the sound of mosquito also, because that is very piercing sound. And the honeybees make the sound like this. So every being produces sound. And so this sound producing phenomenon is a property of space. This we have to remember. We think we are producing the sound by uttering, but the sound is produced by Akasha, which is there in us also. So it is Mr. Akasha in us who makes the sound. We think that Mr. Ananta Krishna is making sound, or Mr. Rudolph is making sound, or Mrs. Lysan is making sound. No. It is Mr. Akasha only who can make the sound. Only Mr. Akasha. We think we are making the sound. We cannot make the sound. He makes the sound, and it is only like a mouthpiece on the mic. We are like mouthpieces. Just like how the mic itself cannot make, it cannot speak. The mic cannot speak by itself. The mic cannot sing by itself. Only when we sing it magnifies, that's all. So these machines are also like this. So it is Mr. Akasha.
In Ananta there is a big Mr.
When my son was singing, he says he has big Mr. Akasha in him because he was singing very very loud, big sound.
But this sound, this is a tremendous energy.
Yeah, sun's energies.
So there are scientists today, I know this from my other side, they are in this direction. They want to use
This energy of the sun.
the sun, energy of sun.
Yes.
So this is a deep study now, and also they make tests in small machines where we want to use the sound.
Yes, the sound energy is tremendous.
It's a totally new technology of this kind. And this is very clean,
Yes.
according to certain frequencies.
Because what we are receiving from the sun, we are receiving light and also the sound. Light and sound. So in fact, this light and sound which are there inherent in Akasha, in the space, because light is also inherent there existing in Akasha, and sound also. That is why when you observe the clouds, when there is thunder, when there is a big thunder in the clouds, you have light and sound both, but in different frequency. That is why light is immediately seen, and a few seconds or minutes later you hear the sound, terrible sound. So this sound and light and sound are together. So at present we are able to use the light of the sun for our solar energy, but yet not able to use the energy of this sun through sound, because that is very hard. When there is a lightning, it is also very hard, this light power, but the sound is still very strong sound. Some seconds after. When there is a thunderbolt, sometimes we will become deaf if we listen to the sound, and if we can become blind also when we happen to see the flash. It is so powerful. So just in a few seconds what is flashed from the clouds is itself so powerful. So you can imagine when it is continuous in the Akasha, it is latent. That is why we are saved. If the latent sound it is manifested, then it is difficult. So sound, you can also listen to the sound when you are standing by an ocean. You see how ocean makes the sound, a roaring sound. Even the water falling down, waterfall, tremendous sound. So all these phenomenon, they explain us that sound is a very strong energy, strong manifestation of energy, and it is one of the prime properties of space. This yet, the scientists, yet they could not understand that sound is a property of space. This because there are still some gaps in the understanding of the scientists. Unless they study these subjects from Blavatsky's, through Blavatsky's books or Alice Bailey's books, and these teachings of the Vedic, unless they come to this, they cannot fill these gaps in their research.
Because a lot of scientists today they want to stop burning. burn something.
But it is difficult to imagine them burning them.
This burning is mainly outside industry, it's not really necessary.
Yes.
Because the oil
Yes, they
is burned only
for the energy,
for electricity.
for electricity.
Yes, but this is
Yes, if they could realize this, they could. If they fill these gaps, for them it is not difficult to use this energy. Because it is also possible, because Master E.K., when he was explaining us these things, it was even during 70s, early 70s, when he was explaining these things to us, he said there was a time when the human beings could use this energy without any apparent fuel, just connecting in the space. And he said this will once again come, most probably by the end of 21st century. That is what he said. Just like how, for example, if you have a candle or a lamp where you have the fuel and you have the wick which is dipped in the fuel, other end of the wick you are burning, or you are burning some wood and you are... So,
Tesla, for instance.
Tesla. Yes, Tesla.
He was
Yes,
one of the
I've done this with them.
yes,
He was one of the
yes,
In 30s,
yes, he experimented.
electricity in the whole city
Yes,
taken from that space.
but afterwards they
But they
killed him.
Who would great?
But the Americans only finance him as long as they expected that they can
make a weapon out of it.
no, not a weapon. You take money.
Ah.
You can control how much is used.
Yes,
What do you call this?
measuring and controlling.
It's a special name.
The turbine.
If you count your electricity, you have a
Turbine.
meter.
Meter.
Yeah,
They want to install a meter.
they want to put their meters everywhere. And then, when Tesla said this is not necessary, then they restore the financial help.
Yeah. Because they want to put meters to make money in this. So when it is not possible, they have...
The first question is, where can I put my meter? If they finance something,
Yes.
then Tesla said, energy is everywhere. We do not need it.
So they want, perhaps they wanted him to invent such meters which can be put everywhere in space. When he does not do it, then finish.
This all happens in New York and in the area where Tesla.
Yes. But this will definitely come back, because when all the other sources of energy are getting exhausted, you have no other choice. You have to do this. But this is a very safest.
Humanity has everything, but hidden in the safes.
Yes.
Possible.
The question is also how to use this energy.
Yes.
Because when the hierarchy gives new ideas in the technical field, they want first to control our minds. For what purpose will they use it?
Yes.
When we use it for war machines, they will not open.
No.
Because it's too dangerous.
Yes. That is the truth.
This is what Master Moria says.
Yes.
You can help, but this has to be for a peaceful purpose.
That is why, unless humanity gets rid of the war
War machine.
machineries, these things are not given to humanity. Too dangerous. Because when once this type of energy from sound and this type of energy is, if the scientists are able to tap this energy, if this is used for destruction, it is much more dangerous. Because now already such things they are doing. They are interfering with the stratosphere of the earth, and they can destroy anywhere. That is already it is proved. They can produce tsunamis, they can produce earthquakes. Even there is no need of nuclear bomb. It is much more intense than this. By entering into the stratosphere of the earth, they can manipulate, and wherever they want, they can produce tsunami or earthquake.
This is what the Americans say, the weather is ours.
Yeah, yes.
This is the high military person in the US, the weather is ours.
Yes. Exactly this is what you see in Ramayana with Ravana in Lanka. In Lanka, he controlled the weather also. This is Atlantean force. He has nuclear power, he has laser power, and also he could control the weather. This is what he said in Ramayana. The weather is under my control, he said. The same thing these fellows, the Atlanteans. So,
therefore they have this, they have, you know, they have.
harp, yes,
So they have one
at Alaska, in Alaska.
There's also smaller one in Europe, in the north of Europe.
Yes,
So they have several places on the planet.
already, yes.
This harp control everything.
Yes.
Control the whole planet.
Yes. This is Atlantean. So that is why some of these things are not allowed by the higher forces to be used unless the humanity will get free from the war machinery. That is the thing. That is why even though Tesla has invented and already proved this, even then it was not, because the higher forces know that all the new inventions will be used in the direction of war and destruction. So therefore, they have all these fellows who wanted to put meters, they are also under the control of higher forces, ultimately.
If you I noticed from the pattern, they have the pattern offices on the planet.
Yes.
In the US, in Europe. When a new pattern comes in, the first is this control if it is useful for military purpose.
Yes, that is the first thing.
When it is useful for military purpose, then the inventor is invited and perhaps is paid very well.
Yes.
Then it disappears for the
Yes, for mama.
This is only for military purpose.
For
This is the system that we have.
yes. So that is why still we are not able to use these things.
And therefore, I think I read it once by Master Morgan. Therefore, they are there to give you ideas, because these military people, they are very, very good trained in using many very simple things with a high effectiveness.
Yes. For destruction.
Especially
And for control.
controlling,
To control all the humanity. That is the aim.
not immediately war, but it's
Control. To have power in their hand. That is the thing. That is very evil thinking.
this is what we have now.
Yes.
Everything is controlled.
Yes. So therefore, here Uchair Ghosha, Rudra is called Uchair Ghosha because he makes such big sound, he produces such big sound, because sound is a vibration, manifestation of the vibration. Rudra is the lord of vibrations. So therefore, the huge sounds, the big sounds are produced through vibration, and that is the activity of Rudras. So when the clouds are moving in the sky,